Ah! You recognize the voice, bitch!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 10 of Don't Shoot the Messenger. After a pretty long hiatus, we are back finally to discuss all of the crazy offseason moves that have happened in the NFL. We'll also be talking a little bit about NBA, and at the end, we're going to talk about Fortnite, the game that has taken the world by storm. With us tonight is my good friend JR, as always. Loso and Sauce are not here tonight, but because we were on hiatus for so long, we figured we'd give you guys a special treat by inviting one of our friends onto the show. Please say hello to Taylor. Taylor, say hello to our listeners.
What's up? Follow me on Twitter. Find me on Tinder also.
Taylor's taken, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not.
God. Shockingly, the Shrek has a girlfriend.
All right, so we're going to start with NFL. And like I said, guys, Taylor's here just as a guest unless he wants to make constant appearances on the show from this point on. It's up to him. But we're going to go ahead and get started, guys, talking about the crazy NFL offseason that we've all been experiencing. Let's just get right to what do you guys think were the best and worst deals so far this offseason? Taylor, since you're our guest, I'll let you start. What was the best trade or contract signed this offseason, in your opinion?
I think the best would have to be AR-15 to the Bears. That offense is getting really just all those weapons, and now they have Allen Robinson, Jordan Howard, Taylor Gabriel, and they're building up something they didn't really have last year. I think they had the highest percentage of runs. I think they ran it like almost close to 70% at least, I think. And the worst signing, it'd have to be something with John Gruden, most likely. He's just senile. He's stuck in the 90s. Probably be Doug Martin. I don't get that at all. I don't get that deal. I don't get why they'd pick him up. They have Washington, who's a nice little young back. I thought they would draft one and kind of do what I think the Colts are going to do and pair him up with another rookie running back. That's what I thought was the smartest decision, but they went and spent money on Doug Martin.
Yeah, it seems like Gruden's stuck in 2013 right now. I mean, with Jordy Nelson, Doug Martin, now they're bringing in Eric Decker for a visit.
Yeah.
But JR, what do you think? Best and worst deals so far this offseason?
The best? I'd probably say Jerick McKinnon to the 49ers. I just like Jerick McKinnon. And Jerick McKinnon and Kyle Shanahan's offense is going to be like on steroids. He's that Alvin Kamara type breed, but he's much faster. And he can catch just as well. So with Jimmy G out there in San Francisco, I think, Jerick McKinnon probably my favorite signing, best signing, I should say. I mean, his price was a little steep, but I mean, I think he'll make good use of that contract. And then worse, probably Dante Moncrief to the Jaguars. Signed him 1 year, $10 million with another $2 million in incentives, and they could have kept AR-15 and Allen Hurns for damn near the same price. And they cut Allen Hurns because they signed Dante Moncrief. Made 0 sense because Dante Moncrief has done nothing to this point besides get injured every season.
They're paying him $10 million a year to run a 30-second slant. Wild.
This is insane. I was like, what? He's like a third-string receiver. What the hell are you giving him $10 million a season? But yeah, those are my best and worst.
Oh, the Dion Lewis
to the Titans
contract was pretty bad too.
Dion Lewis to the Titans it's an underrated move, and they also got Malcolm Butler back there to help their secondary. I like the moves Tennessee made this offseason.
T.Y. Hilton's son.
Yeah.
Lord. See, I think that the best deal this offseason so far was my Panthers trading for Torrey Smith. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kind of with Taylor here on the whole AR-15 to the Bears. You surround Mitch Trubisky with as much talent as possible, and it starts with your clear-cut number one receiver, Allen Robinson. The worst signing this offseason, I'd like to go with what you said, JR, Dante Moncrief to the Jaguars, but I'm going to go with a little bit of a surprise here. I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins to the Vikings. And the reason for that is he's not really that big of an upgrade over Case Keenum. I mean, I'm looking at it this way. If Kirk was on that Vikings team last year, they still would have gotten spanked by the Eagles. It doesn't make them that much better. It's not so much a step forward as it is a step kind of sideways. You're giving him $84 million over 3 years, fully guaranteed. You're not going to have any money to sign your skill players. Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, or as we like to call him here, Baby Antonio Brown, Baby AB. But, you know, the Vikings are full of talent. And, I mean, we all know they're in win-now mode. But this move is going to destroy this team. They're loaded with talent, but because of that giant contract they gave to a guy who's not that much better than Case Keenum, they're in the foreseeable future. They'll probably stumble a lot. So to me, that's the worst signing and the worst deal.
Not Bradford?
You know what? I didn't even think about Sam Bradford. I didn't even think about that. That's how much. That's how much.
Million?
$20 million for 1 year
Dang.
to get rid of Tyrann Mathieu, and they brought in Mike Glennon as well.
Yeah, that's a cool ways to like.
Arizona is. Whew,
I hope they have good retirement homes out there.
Larry Fitz deserves better.
He needs to be traded to Philly now.
Give up like a third or fourth round.
Send him to the Panthers. Let him win a Super Bowl with Cam. Anyway, moving on, guys. We're going to focus more on your specific teams this segment.
Do best and worst trading.
Oh, yeah. There were a couple of trades. There weren't crazy many. Obviously, the big ones, you know, Cleveland got Jarvis Landry and Tyrod Taylor. The Colts got a load of picks from the Jets. And I'm blanking on the other one, the other big one.
Alex Smith to the
Michael Bennett.
Alex Smith, yeah.
Bennett, yeah. Marcus Peters and Talib.
That's it. Thank you. Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib to the Rams.
There was a good amount of trade.
Yeah, but Taylor, what do you think was the best and worst trade this offseason?
Best trade. I think that have to be not just one, but the combining of Peters and Talib to St. Louis, because you add that to that defense under Wade Phillips, and they're already a top 5 defense last year. That's insane to me that they got all that for pennies on the dollars.
Yeah. Pennies
on the dollars. And I would say the worst trade would have to be, I think it's easy, the Alex Smith trade to the Foreskins. That didn't make any sense. You're going to an older quarterback who hasn't proven himself to be anything. He lost his job to Colin Kaepernick, Lord bless him, and they gave him that contract extension, and they don't have any weapons for him. All their weapons got depleted. You telling me Jordan Reed, Mr. Hospital, is going to carry him? No, sir. No way. But that didn't make any sense at all. Those would be mine.
Yeah. All right, JR, your turn.
I think the best trade, I was going to say the Peters one, but Taylor took it. So I'll probably go with the Colts only moving back 3 slots, acquiring like 3 second-round picks in the process. And they're obviously, they just swapped first with the Jets, and then they acquired like 3 other second-round picks, which is good because they need a lot. a talent on the defensive side of the ball more than the offense, but it's a loaded running back class. They can load up on a running back in the second round. They can get another corner or linebacker in the second round. They just tripled up. Well, they have, 4 second round picks now? 3 this year and 1 and 2 next year. If they didn't trade them, yeah. I'd probably say the Colts is probably the best trade because they just acquired a lot of picks for a young team that needs a lot more talent on the defense side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then the worst, it probably would be Jarvis Landry to the Browns for a year on the tag. I'll probably say the Alex Smith one as well. Because on top of trading for him, he has 0 weapons, and you gave him like $95 million on top of that, which is even more age. So, yeah, that's probably the icing on the cake. It's probably Alex Smith trade. Yeah, it's probably a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'll agree with you guys. The worst trade was definitely the Alex Smith trade. For the best one, I believe it's obvious. Daryl Worley to the Eagles for Torrey Smith. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
I'd have to say the best one. I don't know, because I go back and forth between the Rams trade for Talib and Peters because, like you said, Taylor, that defense was already great, and now it's absolutely loaded. You got a secondary of Peters, Talib, LaMarcus Joyner, John Johnson, Aaron Donald. Hello, the best defensive player in the NFL.
And maybe Ndamukong Suh here soon.
Yeah, and Ndamukong Suh is considered the Rams.
He might be a Ram by the end of the week.
Yeah. So that's amazing what the Rams front office was able to do in L.A., not in St. Louis, Taylor.
Oh, my fault.
But I really like the Colts trade too because they haven't been active at all here in free agency. The only move they've made was releasing Jonathan Hankins, which I want to talk about that later, Taylor, because I'm still scratching my head on that. Taylor is our resident Colts fan, for you listeners out there that don't know. But the Colts loaded up on picks, which they need, on defense. Obviously, they need a lot of help. But, I like the move. You only move back 3 spots, and you take all those second-round picks, too. So I go back and forth about which one is really the best. Long-term, I think the Colts, but I think to win would be the Rams. And moving forward to our next topic, guys, we're still going to stick on free agency right now. Which team or teams do you think had the worst free agency period? JR, I'll start with you. Who's had the worst free agency period so far of any team?
The worst? Might be I don't know, I wanted to say the Jaguars. Because they signed, they let Allen Robinson leave. They cut Allen Hurns, but the guys they acquired was like
a downgrade.
Yeah, they didn't get better. They stayed the same, but their offense got worse. Like the weapons around them got worse. They re-signed Marquise Lee, and they signed Dante Moncrief, and both of those contracts combined were like Allen Robinson's and like half of Allen Hurns. And neither one of those receivers are nowhere near as talented as the 2 that they had before. And then they signed 2 tight ends, and they released Shady Lewis, which I understand he's old. But they signed, who are the 2 tight ends they signed? Austin Severian Jenkins, and I forget who the other one is. I'm drawing a blank. But they just, I don't know, it was weird. Like, they put money in weird spots.
Andrew
didn't need to be, and Andrew, that was probably the best one, but they paid him. He's the highest paid, guard now in football?
Highest paid, I think, offensive lineman in the NFL now. I could be wrong.
No, I think, what's his name, to the Giants was the highest paid offensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Nate Solder, he got 15, and Norwell got like 13.5, yeah.
That's it, yeah, you're right.
That's madness, but yeah, I'll probably say the Jaguars probably had the worst signings, because they didn't get better. If anything, they lost like half a step. And the Texans I'm not going to say the Texans have the best, but the Texans have improved because they went and got an Aaron Colvin, which they needed help in the secondary, and they signed a Honey Badger as well, and Tyrann Mathieu. But the best offseason, probably the Vikings, because they're right there on they're a step.
Really?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably say the Vikings because their quarterback got a little better, and then on top of that, they added in a Sheldon Richardson for a year, so they're going like all out for the Super Bowl this year. So
Kirk Cousins ain't gonna get him
I was
there,
gonna say the
pal.
Rams, but the Rams are like a smidge underneath the Vikings.
I'd say the Rams have had a much better offseason so far than the Vikings.
Not necessarily. Not from where the teams were already at compared to last year, because the Vikings were already
Yeah.
step above the Rams.
No, they're far and away better than they were last year. Like I said, Kirk isn't much of a step up from Case Keenum.
He's a decent step up, yeah.
No, he's not. Not with the way Keenum played. If you put Cousins on that team last year, they still get spanked by the Eagles.
They still may lose, but they're not gonna lose 38-7.
It doesn't matter. They still lose, and that's the point. That's the whole point. The point of the point of a team wanting to go get Kirk Cousins was to win now, and
that wasn't
that's not going to.
That wasn't even all on the offense at that point either, because the Vikings defense didn't show at all in that entire NFC Championship.
Yeah, but regardless, Kirk Cousins isn't going to win you the Super Bowl. I'm sorry to say it, Vikings fans, but the truth.
He can easily win.
Whoa. Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl ring. Let's simmer down there,
Flacco
Junior.
just won a Super Bowl like 5 years ago.
Brad Johnson
can win a Super Bowl. And Brad
I don't want to put Kirk Cousins in territory like that. I think he's a little bit better than all of those. Maybe not Flacco, but right now he is.
Yeah. I think Kirk Cousins. I don't even like Kirk Cousins, really. I don't think he's that good, but yeah. He's still good enough to win you a Super Bowl. Plenty. Especially with that loaded of a defense if the defense shows up. I mean, no quarterback.
All right, Jared. Taylor, what do you think? Worst team that had the worst free agency period?
Worst? I want to go off the norm and talk about something really I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, except for our good Mexican friend Frank from the U on Twitter. I would say the Seahawks, because last year they were a very average team. Very just couldn't run the ball that well, couldn't really throw it. Russell Wilson had to make every play, and you lose all those key pieces like Richard Sherman, Sheldon Richardson. You trade them all away and let them go, and then Paul Richardson's gone, and you don't get any more weapons for him. You don't get any more weapons. And they signed DJ Fluker today, and do you think he's going to bolster your offensive line? No way. They're kind of going towards the Ryan Grigson part of wasting a quarterback's prime years, especially with Russell. He does move around a lot. He does take a lot more hits. Mm-hmm. You don't want to just number those years a little bit less and less every year.
Like Rodgers.
That'd probably be the war.
Yep.
Yeah, overused. Like R.I.P. Andrew Luck, lacerated kidney, effed up shoulder, the Lord and Savior. And then look at what's Los Angeles. Look what the Rams are doing.
Yep.
They added a bunch of people, and even if you want to go and say, look what San Francisco is doing. I mean, that Jimmy G contract was all right, but they added Richard Sherman, they added McKinnon. They're trying. And John Lynch, holy God, the finesser professor. That dude is my hero.
And, we talk about teams building around these young quarterbacks. Chicago as well. I know we mentioned it earlier, but you're right, Taylor. I mean, San Francisco, these teams building around their young quarterbacks, giving them weapons, protection, everything they need to do for these young guys to succeed in their rookie contracts before, they'll probably make bank. Now, obviously, Jimmy G, he's already made bank, but Trubisky and Jared Goff. I mean, hey, look at the Eagles. They did it in Wentz's second year. That's pretty. I mean, granted, he didn't play in the Super Bowl, but I mean, still, that's impressive. And, I didn't even think about the Seahawks, but that's actually a really smart choice, Taylor. For me, I'm going to say the team that had the worst free agency period was Arizona. You lose one of the best young safeties in the league, and then you sign two pretty bad quarterbacks, Sam Bradford and Mike Glennon. You've done absolutely nothing to get better. And this is in a division where the Rams and the 49ers are making all these moves. You're in the loaded NFC with, as I mentioned, the Rams and 49ers, Eagles, Vikings, Falcons, Saints, Panthers, all these teams.
They were somehow an 8-8 team last year, but they lost.
Yeah.
Like Matthew, John Brown to the Ravens, Jerron Brown to the Seahawks.
Right. And David Johnson
He'll be
is
back,
coming.
but he's not making you a.
Yeah, a running back alone is not going to make you a threat. I'm sorry, but I mean, David Johnson can't carry this. David Johnson and Larry Fitz can't carry this team. So, I mean, I'm looking at the Cardinals roster. There's really not that much talent there. So I would say out of all teams, I feel like Arizona probably had the worst free agency period. The best one, I'll go with the Rams because we talked about all the moves that they've made. So I'll go with the Rams. They probably had the best free agency period. Next topic, and this is one that I feel like all three of us are going to have very different feelings about for various reasons. Are you happy with the moves that your team has made or has not made? And Taylor, I'll start with you. We talked about the Colts haven't done anything this offseason besides. Now, they did sign Eric Ebron, former Lions first-round pick, which I was surprised that Ebron chose the Colts.
So was I. That came out of left field.
Yeah. I mean, I was in the middle of watching a movie, and I got the notification he signed with Indy, and I was like, that's got to be a typo. That can't be right. But releasing Jonathan Hankins, you've lost your number one corner, John Bostic. So what's going on there, Taylor? Down in Indy, what are they doing?
So with the Hankins move, I don't want to say it was cap based because we already have $70+ million worth of cap for free. But it was the $8 million that if he was still on the roster the next day, he would have guaranteed that whole $8 million and he would have been on the roster. But he was a good fit with the 3-4, and that really wasn't even his niche. His niche is a 4-3. But I want to say that they're going to go along with Henry Anderson, who has shown he's been really good when he's been able to play. And I guess the really stats weren't that different for $8 million versus a rookie contract 4th-round pick, I believe, in Henry Anderson. Mm-hmm. That is still one of the only Grigson players left over that's actually worth the money that he's actually paid for. Mm-hmm. But the Ebron signing, I really did like that because when you go and look at the stats from last year with drop rate, because a bunch of Detroit fans were talking about, oh, did he drop the pin when he signed the contract? If you go and look last year, he had a lower drop rate than the Lord Jack Doyle. They were 21st and 22nd. I think it was like a 4% drop rate for 84 targets, I think. So when you look at that whole scheme, and it's not a bad contract like Dwayne Allen or Kobe Fleener were on. So I love that move just because they can finally run a 2 tight end set with Andrew and not have it be Swope or some default player, insert name here, and go out there and block. Because Ebron, he can be a slot tight end, and you can have Jack Doyle be the run blocker. But the offense, it really does focus on and goes through Jack Doyle. And when you have a guy that you can replicate with him on the exact opposite side and you can trust, I think that's going to give Andrew Luck another weapon with everything else. And I think Cameron Meredith, he has a meeting with us tonight. If we sign Cameron Meredith, I think this offseason it just gets a little bit better because Cameron was really good with just garbage at quarterback. Not Mitchell, but just everyone else before that. He was really good. And they signed, I think it was Arch. I don't know how to say his last name. He was from Oakland as a pass rusher. I really liked him a lot. Not a ton of moves. I think Ballard's low-key about things. He kind of wants to wait a week, and he got some people in for interviews during the first week, but he kind of wanted to keep it low and sign all the outcasts, as you would say. And just he's not overpaying like Grigson was for these 30-plus-year-old washed-up veterans, and I think it's going to pay due. If not this year, probably next year, because we do have all these draft picks that we got from the Jets. I'm really excited for the draft. It's one of the only times I've been very excited because I know we're going to get at least 4 cornerstone players, if not 1 in the first round and 2 in the third round or second round.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it into perspective like that, it makes sense, looking towards the future of Andrew Luck and the Colts. JR, the Steelers have never been a team that is aggressive in free agency. You've talked about this with me before. You guys never go out there and sign big names. You don't give out big contracts. Under the radar stuff, you wait. And the guys you always bring in, I mean, they're solid. They do their job. You guys signed, as I mentioned earlier, John Bostic. You got the safety Morgan Burnett today, which I love. I love that deal. But what do you think, Jar? What do you think about your team's free agency period so far? Are you happy with the moves they've made?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been better, but we don't expect that because that's not what they do. That's not how they operate. But yeah, the Morgan Burnett signing is cool because it means Mike Mitchell is no longer ever have to wear a Steelers uniform. Thank God. I mean, Morgan Burnett is cool. I mean, I liked him when he was coming out of Georgia Tech years ago. He seemed pretty cool. But that was back when he had dreads, though. Cut his hair off. He looked like a whole different person.
Plus 10 overall automatically.
Oh, my God. But yeah, he's cool. He's a little versatile guy. He can play both safety positions. Come in, play dime, be the third safety. John Bostic's cool. I mean, he can hit. He's a good run stopper. He played pretty much every down. That's what you need for your Mike linebacker to be on the field majority of the time. You don't expect him to be filling for Shazier because not one linebacker like a John Bostic is going to fill in and be a playmaker like a Shazier. But he's a good run stopper, which is fine. Stop the run first. But yeah, those are the two acquisitions that the Steelers have made this season so far, which are fine. Needs in both spots. And then we got to wait for the draft so they can get their fill the needs in again with younger talent, rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw some crazy stat the other day. It was like the Steelers have signed, I think it's like 24 free agents over the past 22 years. Like something just absurd, like barely one a year.
Literally.
Yep. And me and Jared, like I said, we've talked about this. The Steelers are never extremely active in free agency, but they're always one of the best teams in the NFL. So nobody wins a Super Bowl in March, as they say. As far as the moves the Panthers have made, I got back and forth with it. Losing Andrew Norwell was rough, but if Taylor Moton can slide right in there and play guard, I'm fine with it. They didn't play him a lot last year, which really was surprising to me, considering he was a second-round pick. But if he can slide right in there to replace Norwell, obviously he won't be as effective. But if he can go in there and do half as well as Norwell did, we'll be all right. The weak side of the line, obviously, is still where Matt Khalil's overpaid bum ass is. But we lost Jonathan Stewart. That was, I mean, it had to happen eventually. So kind of sad about it. Charles Johnson, Kurt Coleman, couple of guys who have been here a long time. So it kind of sucks to see him go. As far as the guys we brought in, Torrey Smith, Jarius Wright, Dontari Poe, I'm happy about it. Dontari Poe immediately boosts the defensive line. We lost Star Lotulelei to the Bills, but Dontari Poe is a huge upgrade over him, and we got him for cheaper. So I'm extremely happy about that. Torrey Smith, we gave up Darryl Worley for him. Not really going to miss Worley being burnt every single passing down on a double move. And Jarius Wright. These are two speedy guys that Jarius Wright's more reliable than Torrey Smith, but I don't know. A lot of people are kind of clowning the Panthers for the Torrey Smith deal, but if there's a quarterback that can revive Torrey Smith's career, it's Cam Newton. I think he's going to fit in with that offense pretty well, be like a Ted Ginn kind of player, veteran wide receiver, top end speed, stretch the field. Jarius Wright, good on third downs. Carolina still needs help at wide receiver, obviously, but I like the moves they've made. Obviously, losing Bashad Breeland really hurt. I was really looking forward to seeing him back in our secondary. And then he failed his physical, and that was weird. I hope it works out where we can still sign him.
I totally forgot the Colts signed Grant from the Redskins that failed his physical.
Oh yeah, the Colts did sign Ryan Grant after he mysteriously failed his physical with the Ravens after that Michael Crabtree. But yeah, I mean, so the Panthers, it's a pretty okay offseason, I suppose, aside from losing Breeland and Norwell. So moving forward, guys, to looking ahead in the draft, who do you guys think your team is taking first round? Taylor, you go first. I know Bradley Chubb is a name that's been mocked to y'all a lot. Quentin Nelson.
Oh, God. I forgot to bring up the best, just real quick, the best free agency move the Colts made was signing Frank Reich and Josh McDaniels going back to New England where he can cuddle with Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft and they can have those threesomes they have late at night thinking about each other. I never wanted him, so happy. Thank you, Lord. But going on with the draft, Bradley Chubb is kind of just penciled in automatically as this future Colt, which I don't want him and I do want him, but my heart pick is I want Quentin Nelson, Hulk from Notre Dame, because my Lord, holy God, that I'm tired of having my quarterbacks being crucified. It's just Jacoby Brissett got sacked 50 times last year, and I mean some of it was on him because he didn't have the experience and he held on to the ball a lot. But when you go and look at the run game, also Marlon Mack, Frank Gore, they were both getting hit 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage every other play. I think football games are won in the trenches, and I'm just a fat guy. I always thought that, but when you get these teams that run 200 yards on you, 250 yards, and you can't even bolster 50 yards, 60 yards, and your quarterback is getting hit, I think Quentin Nelson has the potential to be the best player in the draft if Saquon doesn't pan out. I think he can be. I obviously don't want to say Joe Thomas because I don't think he's going to play 10,000 straight plays, but he'll have that sustainability to where he can play 10-plus years at the same position and be a Pro Bowler. That's who I hope they take in the first. But in the second, I wouldn't mind that Boise State linebacker, Vander. He's really good. Yeah. Him and I would say Billy Price, the center out of Ohio State, just if we want to move him to guard. But the defense, I think that needs to be addressed because you have Malik Hooker, Clayton Gathers, Quincy Wilson. I think you need to add another corner for depth, but I would love if they spent that last pick in the second round on, I don't want to say Sony Michel because I feel like that'd be a reach in the second round. Juice out of LSU would be nice. I don't know if he's gay, though, because he did get asked if he sucks dick or something. I don't know. That was wild in the combine.
Yeah.
But those would be my picks.
That's hilarious.
Jared, what do you think? Oh, I'm sorry, Taylor. My bad.
Oh, I was just going to chime in and say that this running back class is stacked. Royce Freeman is supposed to go in like the 5th or 6th round. That's absurd.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's definitely a heavy running back class, and I love that because we need somebody back there with Christian McCaffrey. But JR, what do you think? Do you think the Steelers go linebacker or what in the first round?
I would hope it'd be a linebacker like Rashaan Evans, but I don't know if he'll be there at 28. So if he's not there, then it's going to be either a linebacker or safety. If it's anything other than a linebacker or safety, I may throw something through the TV. But it'll be linebacker or safety. I don't know if it's Rashaan. If Rashaan Evans is there, I'll take Rashaan Evans, linebacker from Bama. If he's gone at 28, I'll take Justin Reed, the safety from Stanford. Or I'll take Jesse Bates, the safety from Wake Forest. Or I don't want Ronnie Harrison. He's more of a box safety. But we need another safety. And then the other linebacker in the first round, there's not going to be I don't know who's gonna fall. They said Roquan Smith may fall because he has like some medical red flag issue or something. So I was like, okay, let him
Chill
fall.
out, chill out.
Let him fall. So let him somehow fall to 28.
Right, if he
I know
falls
who the
to
pick will be.
28,
I
I'll
know.
personally send you Whataburger.
Sounds like a deal. If he falls anything past 20, teams are mentally retarded.
He could be like what was it? Who fell last year that went to the
Reuben
Niners
Foster.
and like
Yeah.
and he
But Reuben
that's
Foster has like
wild.
off-field issues because he has like DUIs and weird shit now.
Smoking
Yeah, Reuben
doinks
Foster
and
is.
Smoking big doinks and Amish. That dude's wild.
bro, gang, you feel me?
That's crazy.
I think for Carolina, we need to look at safety. I'd like Justin Reed from Stanford. If it comes down to it, we can get a wide receiver. If we can get Christian Kirk, I'd be happy. Those are the two names I'm seeing linked to Carolina mostly is Christian Kirk and sorry guys, Taylor just sent me a text and threw me off. But Christian Kirk or Justin Reed, or even DJ Moore if neither of those guys wind up being there.
What do you think about Sutton, the receiver out of SMU?
I don't know.
Because he's supposed to be penciled in at the first round too.
Yeah, I don't know. If we can get one of those guys, Sutton included, that'd be awesome. I'd really like Sonny Mitchell in like the third round. If he falls to us somehow, that'd be amazing. Or the guy from LSU. I don't know how you say it. Goose, Geis, Darius Geis. Yeah, he'd be awesome. But definitely positions we need to address are wide receiver, safety, corner, running back, edge rusher, left tackle, tight end. Well, you know what? We need everything. Let's just screw it. We need everything.
You know who I think could be like a Stephon Diggs type of player just in the late round of a draft? That Pettis receiver out of Washington, because that dude is a playmaker. Because he has doesn't he have like the all-time punt returns for NCAA?
Yep, most punt returns for touchdown. Yep.
That dude, as soon as he gets the ball, he just has that instant burst and that chance just to take it to the house.
Yeah, he's a playmaker to have. He's probably gonna go like third round, probably too, third, fourth round, shit. Depending on who to reach for him.
All right, guys. So we're gonna move away from NFL now. I know that there was a lot of NFL stuff to talk about. We're gonna move to the NBA just for a little while. Looking at what's that? Anyway, looking at the NBA, we have these four teams that have been dominating lately. The Trailblazers are killing it. The Utah Jazz are doing great. The Raptors are still doing really good. The Houston Rockets are still doing really good. All four of these teams have been doing great. But does that mean playoff success for any of them? JR, I'll start with you. Do any of these teams have any shot to make the finals?
Only like one, maybe two. The Blazers and the Rockets. The Blazers probably weren't going to make it anyway. Still aren't going to make it. But if they hit one of them hot streaks, but I feel like they hit the hot streak at the wrong time because they haven't lost a game since the All-Star break. They literally are undefeated since they came back from the All-Star.
Yeah, 13.
But I feel like
13
they
wins
got
in a row.
they got hot a little too early because that's what happens all the time, especially with the Raptors. The Raptors are a complete joke. I don't give a shit what the Raptors can go 82-0. Playoffs start, they forget how to play basketball. And then
second round sweep, baby.
Huh?
Second round sweep.
Round sweep.
Literally. It's the rest
what about Houston, JR? You think they have a chance?
The Rockets can, but I don't know. I don't know if they could beat the Warriors 4 times in a week and a half span. I just don't know any team in the West that can do that. I mean, the Rockets are equipped to do it, but they still go out and actually do it. That's hard to believe. And playoff James Harden isn't nowhere near as good he is as in the regular season. That's a lot. That's same thing goes with your Kyle Lowrys and your DeMar DeRozans and your Westbrooks and who's on the Blazers, Dame Lillard. They're really good in the regular season, especially right after the All-Star break, and then the playoffs come, or they'll hit their hot streak right before the playoffs start, and then they get the playoffs and they fizzle out and they're getting a rough patch and they can't buy a jumper, and they're just turning the ball over the entire time. And it happens year in and year out. So until something else happens, I'm gonna say no for another team. But I would be shocked if the Rockets somehow, I don't know, somebody on the Warriors have to be out for the rest of the season for the Rockets to make it to the finals. And the Blazers would just have to make every shot from here on till the finals to make it to the finals. But I don't see that happening either because they don't play nowhere near enough defense. The Rockets at least have defensive-minded players on the team. Ariza's and your PJ Tuckers, guys like Capella and stuff like Chris Paul, obviously. Guys like that. But yeah, the Rockets would probably be the only team that could make the finals.
What do you think, Taylor?
I think the Rockets would probably be the only team out of those, I would say, that have a chance. I'm really intrigued. I think the Western Conference Finals has a chance to be better than the finals, most likely. I think whoever wins the West will probably win the finals, and I do think it'll be Houston versus Golden State. But I think just there's this aura around Mike D'Antoni that he'll always be like this kind of Andy Reid coach.
Yeah.
Just never kind of win it.
Yeah.
Just always kind of get real close. But I mean, he has a players coach, and all his players really do love him. And but yeah, Toronto's not going to do anything. I don't care if they're playing. They could probably have 7 games at home against the Cavs, and they would lose probably in 5. But
yeah,
that's just me.
I agree with you guys. I think out of any team right now, Houston probably has the best shot to upset Golden State and make it to the finals. And I think that if they do upset Golden State, I think Houston wins it all. I think you're right, Taylor. The Western Conference Finals are going to be better than the actual NBA Finals. And whoever comes out of the West is winning it all, probably. While we're talking about Houston, guys, is this the year that James Harden finally wins MVP? Or is somebody else going to steal it from him again,
Nobody's stealing it.
I mean, Russell Westbrook stole it from him last year, so. But what do you guys think? Is it Harden's MVP this year?
Yeah, it's been his season. It's been his MVP since the beginning of the season. He started strong, and he's finished it just as strong. Their record when they have him and Chris Paul playing together alone is just ridiculous. And they had all that scrutiny coming before the season. Oh, how are Chris Paul and Harden going to mesh together? Well, I don't know. Chris Paul's not he's not ball dominant like James Harden. But he's clearly a pass first. He don't mind passing the ball and getting others involved. And James Harden he has times where he dribbles the air out of the ball. A lot of point guards in the NBA do. But he's also selflessness to where he'll pass the ball and give it to Chris Paul and let Chris Paul bring the ball up the court and let Chris Paul play point guard. And James Harden.
Russell Westbrook would never.
He would never. He still doesn't. With Paul George on his team. Doesn't make a difference who. He didn't do it with KD. I don't know now. Anywho, but yeah.
Taylor, do you agree?
Anthony Davis had a cool February, but that's like 8 games. Like, come on, dude. Put a full 70 games in the season versus Anthony Davis. I mean, he is top 3 talent, but I mean, you got to play more than 50 games.
I think the MVP award is kind of now just this second best player award because we all know the most valuable player to a team. It has to be LeBron.
Yeah.
I think if you take him off there, I don't think they win more than 34 games, 35.
No
question. But James Harden, this is his season. This is the year of James Harden. If they win, if Houston wins the finals in the next 3 years, it's this year. And the crazy thing about it is, just because I'm a Mavs fan, look back at it. 2011, Dirk beats 3 MVPs in one series. If you go look at it, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, the Snake, KD. Oh, that's the greatest championship run in the past 15 years. I digress. But James Harden should be the MVP because he even what was the record when they didn't have Chris Paul? It was still outstanding. They were still
ridiculous, yeah.
Top 3 seeds.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I'm kind of with you guys. I think it's Harden's MVP this year. He deserves it. He deserved it last year. I'm still mad that Westbrook basically stole it from him. He didn't deserve it. But kind of going off of what Taylor said, it does seem like it goes to the second best player in the NBA for that season. Because, transitioning to talking about LeBron, I know everybody talks about LeBron, all the radio shows and TV shows. Every sports show in the universe talks about LeBron James a lot. But this guy is 33 years old now, and he is still getting better. Night in and night out, he does amazing things that he steps his game up every night. Like, you think, oh, he can't do better than he did last night, and then he turns out, he's putting up a 40, 12, 10 triple-double again. If there was a year where LeBron should win another MVP, it would be this one. And I don't want to take it away from Harden, because Harden does deserve it. But if there was a year where LeBron should win it over anybody else, it would be this year. I know that I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but we know LeBron is the most valuable player in the NBA, because like you said, Taylor, without him, that Cavs team is a bottom of the barrel team. And his presence alone on any team makes them a contender. So I don't know. I go back and forth with this whole thing. I know Harden deserves it, but at the same time, LeBron really is just dominating. Anybody who goes against him, nobody can stop him. So I don't know. I mean, he's carrying that Cleveland team like he always has. So moving forward and talking about the NBA playoffs, guys, I know everyone kind of expects it to be Warriors-Cavs round 4, and everyone expects the Warriors to sweep through Cleveland and win the championship again. But Golden State's dealing with injuries. Steph has been battling injuries. KD, Clay have all gotten hurt over the past couple of weeks. Are you guys worried about Golden State or Cleveland come playoff time? I know this is kind of the same question as, do any of these other teams have a shot of upsetting them? But are you guys at all worried about Golden State or Cleveland in the playoffs, or is it a pretty clear path to the finals for both of them? Taylor, I'll start with you.
I think it's a clear path for Cleveland just because of the East. I mean, Boston, who gives a shit? But Toronto, they might not even be there in the conference finals. They're probably a 7 or 6 seed could probably get them in the second round. But I don't know, something about Houston. Word to J.R. Smith, shooters shoot, and they can light up the building. And I think they're the only team that can really kind of outshoot Golden State on a night.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, but the injuries for Golden State don't really bother me because it's not like it's an ACL or nothing really major. Mm-hmm. And as long as they're all right, you could probably take KD out and Clay if you want to for the first round. What are they going to win in 5 games now? 6 games? It's still all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland goes 12-0 or 11-1 to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Jared, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the Warriors because there's no major injuries. I mean, KD had a little bruised ribs or whatever. Curry got a little nagging ankle. They could all play right now if the playoffs started tomorrow. They'll be there for the playoffs run. It just depends how if they have the hunger to go win it again and repeat. That would like start this would be their 3rd championship in 4 seasons. Yeah, so this would start their first dynasty basically if they repeat here. But no, I wouldn't be worried about the Warriors. No, because they have that. I don't want to say they switch, but they do have a switch that they hit. They only hit it for like 3 minutes out of the entire 48-minute game, but once they hit it, it just all cheat codes activated, and they stop missing shots. And you're the ugliest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life.
If Taylor would turn his camera on,
the Cavs will probably struggle when they get to like the Eastern Conference Finals against maybe the Celtics or maybe if the Wizards beat the Raptors. Somehow the Wizards get in there. I don't know how, but yeah, it's the Eastern Conference. Anything's possible.
So the Wizards Conference Finals.
The Wizards have been doing pretty well despite John Wall not being there. The Wizards have been playing really well.
Some of that March Madness rolls over on the Wizards. March Madness luck rolls over into the Wizards' good side and gives them some easy dubs in the playoffs. Maybe they make a surprise run.
And we'll talk March Madness here in a minute, but I don't know, guys. I kind of go back and forth with this just because I know how dominant Golden State is, and like you said, JR, they have this switch they can just flip, and it's on for 3 minutes, and in that 3 minutes alone, they win the game. But there's a lot of teams that I feel like they're getting hot at the right time. I mean, Houston's been hot all year. Portland is doing really well here lately. The Jazz are doing pretty well. Now, I don't think the Jazz can obviously beat Houston or Golden State, but I think there's a lot of teams that are kind of at that second tier of they're not going to beat Cleveland or Golden State in a 7-game series, but they're still some of the best teams in the league. Say what you will about Toronto. I don't know. They're first in the East right now, but that doesn't really mean anything. Boston, losing Kyrie really hurts them.
They'll be back for the playoffs, but they don't have a second scorer anyway, so it's like, Gordon Hayward breaking his knee or his leg in first game of the season. Pretty fucked. Thank
God that happened.
What do you mean, thank God that happened? Poor Gordon Hayward.
Cannot stand Boston. Oh yeah, we got Clam Chowder, Tommy B the GOAT. Look at this.
But I think a team that's kind of flying in under the radar here, and has a chance to make the conference finals. The Indiana Pacers, guys, are third in the East now. They've come out of nowhere here, playing solid basketball all around, despite the fact they don't really have a big name on the team. But I think Indiana is a sleeper to make the conference finals. But as far as making the finals, I feel like it's still probably going to be Golden State and Cleveland, which is unfortunate because, like I said, we're seeing a lot of teams that are probably at that second tier. If Golden State and LeBron weren't so dominant, I feel like the playoffs would be so much more fun to watch. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of teams now who could really battle it out, and it would be awesome to watch. But unfortunately, it's not the case.
I like to think about it like there's a whole nother universe out there, and I like to think that Victor Oladipo and Russell Westbrook are in the finals, and Oladipo just dunked on Russ. That would be awesome if we got a Pacers OKC finals, but that's never gonna happen.
No, that would be something.
So with like the playoffs, how do you feel about like the tanking? Because there's been this theory that like there'd be a round robin tournament for like NCAA for the number one pick instead of just having the last after when the finals are going on, you have a tournament for the number one pick. So you actually have games that mean something.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about that, but that actually is I'd like that. Now, is it the winner gets the number one pick?
Yeah, not the loser, but yeah.
Takes thinking to a whole nother definition. But I like that idea. I think that's pretty cool. What do you think, JR?
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. I wish they'd do that in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Like just the bottom 4 teams.
Instead of just giving it to Cleveland every year.
Yeah, any trash team that you can tell obviously is tanking. Or like they do that in some soccer league, I think too. Where they play for like the franchise, and the franchise has to disband for like a year or some weird shit like that.
Yeah, they do that in like every Europe league. Like if you lose, like the bottom 3, if you like are in the bottom 3 of the league, you get relegated.
season. I was like, holy shit, I need that in basketball and NFL for sure. For these trash teams who don't even give a shit about
We
winning.
never have to see Cleveland again.
Literally, the only conference or only division in the entire league with 3 teams in it playing extra game. So that'd be kind of
Well, moving on, guys, away from NBA and into March Madness. Unfortunately, my defending champ Tar Heels lost in the second round to Texas A&M. Congratulations to them. They played a great game. We didn't deserve to win. What have you guys thought about the tournament so far? It's been pretty crazy, right? Living up to the name of March Madness.
Pretty much, yeah. Can't top it. I mean,
I don't want to talk about it.
If this were R.I.P. Tennessee.
What did he say? I didn't hear him.
He didn't want to talk about it. If this were the year for a 16 to beat a 1, hot damn it, it was this year. Sure enough. Oh my God. They didn't just win on some last second buzzer beater. No, they beat the dog shit out of Virginia. And that was UMBC, I believe it was. Yeah.
Yeah. They lost in the second round to Kansas State, but they won our hearts forever.
Oh yeah. They're never gonna be forgotten. That was madness.
Yeah.
Madness. They beat the
kind of
from Virginia. Virginia was like outside of Villanova Virginia every year. It's just like, all right, we get it. There's like a bunch of non-athletic dudes, but like they're good fundamentally wise at basketball. They're not gonna like jump out of the gym or jump off the screen when you see them play, but they're just like good fundamentally. Like, I can't call them the Spurs because they ain't never won shit, but
they're the Gonzaga of the East.
Yeah, basically of the ACC. Yeah, exactly.
Much, yeah.
Gonzaga, but there's like a bunch of light-skinned dudes with zero athleticism. It's like, what is this? How do you not?
Dude, when I went to the Tennessee game of the round of 64, and Wright State came out and announced the starting lineup. This guy threes. He went like 4 for 24 on threes. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Nah, but I am a Tennessee fan, so Sister Jean's a whore.
Look, as long as Duke doesn't win it all, I'll be happy.
Well,
go Loyola Chicago. Woo-hoo.
Die, please, die. Dude, Sister Jean sacrificed a Best Buy employee the night before for that game-winning shot. That's just fact.
She had to.
How
old is she? Like guys, 98, they said? That's hilarious.
98. Oh, God.
Anyway. And guys, our last topic for this episode, Fortnite. The game that is taking the world by storm. It's all we do. It's all we play. And this guy Ninja, the Twitch streamer, makes $500,000 a month playing this game. He played with Drake, Travis Scott, and Juju Smith-Schuster. What a legend. He's living his best life. Yeah. Playing a game, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, playing with celebrities. I mean, why can't that be us, honestly?
That's where we've been the last month with this long delay of episode.
Yeah, that's why we've been on hiatus, guys, is literally just because all we do is play Fortnite. Taylor can't relate. He didn't play Fortnite. Like a loser.
I'm sorry, I'm not a virgin.
All faithful men play Fortnite and go to sleep. That's it. That's all they do.
I think my first experience kind of killed it for me, because the guy I was playing with, he's like, hide. He's like, don't kill them. Just hide. Just wait. I was like, what kind of bullshit is that? Like, oh, you got to build, dude. Build a wall. Okay, let's go, Trump. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Oh, man. All right, well, if you haven't played Fortnite, then you're missing out, and I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. But that is pretty much it for episode 10 of Don't Shoot the Messenger. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening, and thank you, Taylor, for joining us and being our special guest tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I have. I love y'all. It was real intimate.
Guys, we might have Taylor on more episodes here in the future. there's no telling. It just depends on what happens with Loso and Sauce. Like I said, neither of them could join us tonight, unfortunately. So, but again, thank you guys for tuning in and listening. For all of us here at Don't Shoot the Messenger, for JR Swish, for Taylor, and for myself. No, this is Glenn Lewis signing off.